What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Verdependent podcast, where we depend on the Verde and Black for our everyday vibes. This episode is brought to you by AC Momento. AC Momento, your digital sports and concert scrapbook. Download Memento today by following the link in the show notes or on any of our social profile bios. This week, we're diving into the preseason action as we recap the game open to season ticket holders against NYCFC. We're discussing the upcoming Austin FC secondary kit drop and previewing the Verde and Black's trip to Coachella Valley before closing out the episode, as always, with a stoppage time rundown of the hottest Austin FC, MLS, and World Footy storylines of the past week. I'm Paul Fletes.
And I'm Logan Bartlett.
And as always, we're kicking things off with preheated takes, brother. It is it's a good time as always for it, so hit us with it.
Well, we're 16 days away from the season opener, right? And we're already down BV9, and we're potentially down Owen Wolf as well, right? If that's the plan to let him sit. So,
right.
What I would like to see, and what I'm preheatedly calling right now, is that Austin FC will return from Coachella Valley with 0 additional injuries that would cause a missed match. So, no more big injuries, knocks here and there. That's just part of the game. But I don't want to see anybody miss any more time. I want 0 injuries coming home. That's my preheated take. It will happen.
I love it, bro. Bro's thinking about himself on
Manifest,
on that.
bro. No knees FC.
That's it, man. I like that. I think it's very health conscious, making sure that we get our best 11 on match day 1 as possible. But anyway, for my preheated take, I'm looking more kit centric here for match day 1, and it is that Austin FC will debut the rooted kit on match day 1 against Minnesota United.
Give him the points now. I think that's a guarantee.
Yeah, I just believe in the Verde marketing machine, and this is all part of it. So,
indeed,
yeah, for sure. Well, looking at the first half that we have here, it is the preseason loss to NYCFC that was open to season ticket holders.
Yeah,
as you and I both were made privy, the club opened up Q2 last Sunday for season ticket holders to enjoy the Verde and Black in preseason form. Against MLS side NYCFC. While the result goes down as a 0-2 loss, there are moments of the game and players that are worth discussing. So in no particular order, Lobar, I thought I'd open it up to you. If you want to just give us the vibes first leading into this preseason match, and then we'll go into more of the gameplay and the roster and all that good stuff.
For sure, man. The vibes, as always, pristine, right? Had a good early morning, did some stuff around the house, got the day ready, and then look, it's like noonish. Guess I should get going, right? Meet up at the taco trucks at the Sonico or whatever the gas station is. Ate some good quesadillas and chilled with the crew. We walked over, did a little lap, got our spots in the sun, vibing pretty hard, listening to the DJ, right? Watching the team, the boys warm up, seeing the first glimpses of Verde and Black IRL with our own eyes. So vibes were pristine, man. It was just good vibes. Weather was cool. Stadium looked nice. People were excited. And then the game started. So I'll just hand that back to you.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, for sure. I think for me, what was really nice about these moments were that, like, you're not locked into your actual seat. Like, yes, it was a season ticket holder event, but we were trying to follow that sun as much as we could to kind of stay warm, but also gave us some really cool views of the team and the pitch. And so that was really fun as well. But for sure, heading into the gameplay itself, starting with lineups, we had Stuver in goal, a back four that consisted of Galley, BHI, John Bell, and Rosales. I'm trying to remember his first name now. All of a sudden I forget. Joseph, thank you. Yep. Then in the middle, we had Dubrsarski, Danny, Jaden Nelson, and Robert Taylor that were in the middle, with Alice Stewie and CJ in the front two. So I think we were starting off with what looked like a 4-4-2 shape in defense, but in possession, Rosales was pushing up to join in the attack. I think it's funny. I'm sure you'll mention this point as the forward situation, but he looked like he had the most liberty and license to like float around and do whatever he needed to. And so I think before we get into more of that, just talking about like other reinforcements that were playing later on in the game at halftime, we had to switch out for Robert Taylor, John Bell, Danny Pereira, and Dubrsarski, and in came John Kolmanich, Guillermo Biro, and Ilya Sanchez, and Basard Savovic.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the 60-minute mark, we had some supplemental players taking the pitch, where Stuver, Alistui, and Galley exited the field and were replaced by Damian Loss, Irvin Torres, and Riley Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the 75th minute, season ticket holders were treated to a complimentary Austin FC 2 Academy game as CJ Fodry, Brendan Hines-Ike, Jaden Nelson, and Joseph Rosales made way for Vlad Dan Chuchu, Chuy Moreno, Micah Burton, and Mo Badawia, excuse me.
I want to commend you real quick for hunting all those names down. Just want to shout that out because that's what's up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it didn't help that it was just numbers purely on the kit, right?
For sure.
For that game. Sure. But I get it. It's preseason for the office staff as well. But anyway, man, so now that we have all the characters out there, why don't you give us the plot? Tell us what you think. What were the fun parts? What were the not so fun parts? Go for it.
Well, like you mentioned, I'll start at kickoff. We're getting the player announcements for the starting lineup, and I'm pretty sure it was Jeremiah in the box. It sounded like him. He gave us the hint of, and forward number 30, Joseph Rosales, and I was like, did he say forward? And then I had to think back, like, is he naming the positions for everyone?
Right.
Oh, he is. Why? Yeah. What's happening? And I think I turned to you and said, hey, he's playing the one position that wasn't listed in the FC announcement of positions he plays. They listed like left back, central mid, midfielder, whatever else.
Yeah.
He's playing forward now. But, not to talk on Rosales too long because it's just, 60 minutes or so that we see of him, or 75. But I think it was cool and interesting to see him get free reign. I think similar to like a Biro kind of player, like he has a penchant for the attack. He has some creativity, has confidence more than anything to be on the ball and to kind of facilitate in that way. And so that was cool to see. It's cool to see Nico doing something fun on both sides of the pitch with the fullbacks. We saw it too with Jean Colemanage later, where he's playing up as like a left winger. Granted, we're down 2 at that point, but regardless, he's playing very much in the attack. So to have that flexibility to flip the side of the field where the wing back is playing up and the attack is pretty fun. I think we do some cool stuff with that. I want to give a shout out to Alistui because I don't know if he's ever going to get first team minutes for real, but I thought he impressed, in my opinion. Again, we didn't score a goal. We lost 2-0, but he looked alert, confident, playing at speed. Like he was playing as if it was a regular season game. He wasn't just kind of going through the motions like others may have been, He didn't look out of place, right? Like Yeah. Like he was all over the field. He dropped back into the back line, kind of box to box to facilitate, and he went all the way up in the attack and took shots, right? So he was really given, similar to Rosales, like, but in the midfield, a lot of free reign to play up and down and really be a facilitator. You'll play through him. And I thought that was cool. And it excites me on one side of things. So I'm like, oh, he could earn some playing time this year, right? If he keeps playing this intentional and this focused and kind of mistake free, that's a positive for us. But then on the flip side, I'm like, man, if we just really went after that like DP or like high level TAM 10, what could be unlocked for this team, like playing through the middle, it would just be incredible. So, but I want to, not to linger on that part. Shout out Alistui. I thought he played really well. I'm excited to see if he gets some minutes because I think he'll seize those.
For sure.
And those were the main 2 that stuck out for me. It was a lot of the same, playing out of the wide sides of the field and playing balls into really no one. CJ at times, but it's hard when it's 4v1, no matter how tall and the vert that you have. So I thought it was just, we saw some glimpses of fun, but generally it was more of the same in terms of like offensive ineptitude. It just wasn't exciting. And we're kind of like, all right. And then, the 60th minute comes, 75th minute comes, and then it's like, all right, good to see the kids get some play, have some fun, take some shots, fuck around, whatever. Like get your moment in the sun. So to summarize my thoughts, like people say preseason doesn't matter, which they're probably right, but it feels a lot better when you win in the preseason because for NYCFC, it definitely mattered, Yeah. It only doesn't matter when you lose. So
exactly.
Anyway, that's me. I talked a lot. Tell your thoughts, keep it going, whatever you need to do.
No, you're good, man. You're good. I think one person that I really want to make sure we get a shout out to is Nico Dubrasarski.
Mm-hmm.
playing alongside Danny Pereira. He seemed to have a lot more confidence, not just in the way that he was winning the ball in the park, but I think there were moments where he was communicating. I know there was a moment of him and CJ kind of,
Yep.
going through some instruction, and you could tell that like Dubersarski was very like intentional about like, showing CJ where to kind of take the space in front of him so that way he could receive the ball
Yeah.
in better
And he
space.
treated it seriously too. He's like this
Yeah,
with that fire as if it's midseason. It, you
exactly.
know,
Yeah,
it was
and so
good.
I thought for me, man, he had a really good outing. He was one that definitely, if you had
Yeah, good
a
job.
kind of thumbs up, thumbs down, he was definitely thumbs up for me. I think Jaden Nelson also showed glimpses of what he can do. Got to remember that he is not exactly the Bukhari, like for like swap, but I mean, we're getting him on a much cheaper,
Yeah.
bill, and for him to be able to, have some of those moments of pace and not quite the one-on-one, beating his defender, so to speak, but you could see where there will be moments with the rest of our starting 11 where he'll probably be part of a really good combination that unlocks a defense and, puts a cross into the box or finishes himself. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's going to be fun. But yeah, man, I think all in all for me, it was mostly just one of those things where I walked in there with no expectation. I understood that we were missing, some key starters. Obviously all our DPs are out,
Yep.
whether through injury or, just
New to the club. Yeah.
new to the club. And so, wasn't too worried there, but, like you were saying, I was always the type to think that like, man, it's always nice when, you see those big clubs that always go out in their preseason and they're winning, 3-0, 4-0 or whatever. It's because it's just in their DNA, right? It's just, they've got that killer instinct. They're like, hey, this is
Yeah.
still a match, it's still time bound and there are rules. Like we need to end up on top. And so,
Yeah.
there's that part, but there's also the part of me that as I get older and more chill as a fan, I'm like, this is really fun to open this up, because last season we had just the training session, right?
Yep.
And this time now we get a little bit of action involved, but for the casual fan, I think it was a great opportunity to take the family out, go to Q2, just kind of get a chance to get that that feeling again before match day 1 in
Yep.
late February.
I would
And
agree with all that.
so, yeah, I think for me, man, it would be prudent for the club to continue this. I don't see why they can't, especially the part where they get the younger kids to get run out and stuff,
Yeah.
because
Right.
that's just invaluable experience and part of that pipeline from academy to the first team. And so the more we can do that to facilitate those journeys, I think we're doing those kids and this team, a good thing. So yeah, man. I guess the last question I had for you was, I know talking about the joke of like feeling valued as a season ticket holder,
Mhm.
after the loss, it's like, well, I didn't really feel valued after that. But at the end of the day, do you feel like that was a good value for the ticket or, like what's your thought there?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you kind of summarized it very well. Like we got a chance to go see the club earlier than we expect, see some play, see the players. I think if the club were to do this again next year, right, have the DPs play. You can't always control it, but like, why wasn't Uzuni there? Like at
Yeah.
least physically be there and walking around saying what's up to players. They
Mm-hmm.
could have
On
been walking in the
concourse.
stands, the concourse. I'm not sure. We weren't in there, but
Yeah.
make it a very obvious, like they are here. Your star players are here that you pay to
Mm-hmm.
see, and like whether they just come out and wave and like or sign autographs after or whatever. I think there's some creative things they can do to build on this. This is a good start. They're trending the right direction to really value the folks that stand them up financially.
Yeah.
Um, I think next year maybe we see something like if we do see the Austin FC2 players come off the last 15 minutes, we'll get the star players, the Stuvers, the DPs, not get them ready for a little impromptu press conference like we saw a couple years back, where like
Yeah.
Ilie and Estevez are there, like talking to the crowd, doing a Q&A with the club communication staff, right? Maybe we
Yeah.
see kind of like a mixture of those things because I like that part of it a lot. Get to hear the mindset of the players, you get to see them, how they're thinking and what they're looking forward to for the season. You get to meet a player like Ilie who came in and was a leader for the team on and off the field. So I
Yep.
like that aspect of a lot. I think there's a little more activations you can add to it, right? There's little things to keep spicing it up. Give us a season ticket holder Yeti. I don't know, like little things that you can hand out that are
Yeah.
like, you are a season ticket holder and you can differentiate yourself from everybody else with this cool, limited edition thing that we give you,
Sure.
the C4 activation, the Siete activation, like all that stuff is good. So just keep
Yeah.
doing that kind of thing. And people won't have much to complain about. So
Yeah. Here.
yep.
Yeah, and I think that is a really good segue actually to kind of talking about the what I mentioned earlier, the Verde, marketing machine, which is, talking about this latest kit drop. Obviously for those that don't know, the club will cycle every 2 years on a primary or secondary kit. And so this year we're doing goodbye with the Armadillo kit, and we're saying hello to what the club is calling the Rooted kit. So I know that there were pictures that were released officially from the club. I think it was just like the hemline, if I'm not mistaken. And then also the collar in those pictures. But then local radio station KUTX let slip a picture of local artist Annabelle Chairlegs. She was wearing the actual kit with some jeans, and I heard you mention that, those are like starkly different, images from the club pictures to the KUT leak pictures. So I wanted to hear your thoughts. Like, what exactly was the difference there? Because I see them for somewhat pretty similar, and I'm not a huge fan on it yet, but I'm sure when I start seeing it all around the stadium and stuff, I'll be burning a hole right through my pocket. So
yeah, that's fair. I think we're all going to buy it anyway. Yeah, I think it's the quality of picture. I will preface this by saying the quality of picture is obviously very different, right? Like the club led marketing around it is going to be perfectly lit. The colors are going to pop. They're going to be intentional about what details they show you. And I liked it when I saw it. I'm like, oh, that looks nice. It looks like a good color match. And then you see it in that KTX studio picture, and it's lower quality, and the white and the green, which is what, like our fifth green in 5 years. Is that what we said? I can't remember.
Yeah, 5 and 6, I think. Five greens in 6 years. Yeah,
greens in 6 years. So this is our fifth different Verde in 6 years for the Verde and Black. It didn't pop nearly as much. It kind of blended in with the white. I thought the black, Adidas, the 3-stripe accents on the shoulder just did not look as good. They look good on the Sentimiento kit because it's solid color with black as the second color. When it's the third color, when the other two are like white and green white, almost light green, I think it doesn't look as nice. I will say, this is all different media. Once I see Brandon Vasquez in it with his perfect hair and his nice little goatee,
and his full arms and biceps,
exactly, I'm gonna be like, all right, that's the best jersey ever made. So I will say, looking at the football kit archive webpage where they have all the kits, currently the 2026 away kit is at second place in terms of rating. The people vote what their favorite one is, and right now it's at second, right behind, funny enough, the 2024 away kit. So that's interesting. But
and by 2024 kit, you mean the Dillo kit, right?
Yeah, Dillo kit. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so, I think it's going to look cool, but I don't know. It's our fifth green in 6 years. I think the accents, it didn't translate well to the quality of photo that your fans are going to take. It's probably going to look pretty shit, if that's what the KTX photo looked like. When I take a selfie, or someone takes a picture of me, I think it's not going to pop as much as maybe a darker, more present green would pop.
I hear that.
Anyway.
Well, Batman, that actually makes sense now that I hear you say that, because I was always curious. And I think to me, one thing that I noticed was, like, especially on this Sentimiento kit that I'm wearing, the shoulder stripes, the 3 stripes that stop right there at the seam, at like the edge of the shoulder, where they end on the Sentimiento kit, I think is a timeless, classic look on any Adidas kit. But when it extends past over into the actual sleeve, that's where I have an issue, and it makes the shirt look almost too big for the person that's wearing it. So So it's interesting in that regard. But for me, I'm going to be really interested to see how it's paired with the bottoms. If they're going to try to do similar to what they did with the away kit, which was like a kind of 2-color situation where it's like the all cream or the contrasting green.
Yeah.
But yeah, all I was going to end with was that no kit talk in Austin is serious unless we mention the Verde, or rather the Verdes, that you talked about earlier, which was the 5 shades in 6 years. And so off rip, I don't know if you saw this question ahead of time or not, but I am tasking you with ranking all of your Verdes 1 through 6.
Okay.
With 1 being your favorite. Ready, set, go.
Okay. I know we did this last year. This is going to be a completely different list, guys. I'm just going to say that right now. If you went back and listened to
We've kept receipts slogan.
I know. I can't even tell you what I said last year, so I'm just going to go off the dome. I really like how the 2025 home kit looks on me. I like the double green. I like the black accents watermelon around the armpit. And I know to the point you just made, when the lines go past the shoulder and go, I think it works in this case because there's other accents kind of building out that shape.
Okay.
Like the ones on the chest armpit thing. So I think I'm going to put that one at 1 just because it's recent. I like it. It looked good on Brandon Vasquez. That's what's up. I think, man, I'm going to go with the OG kit. Next, I think the Sentimiento kit 3rd. I think the Barcode kit 4th.
I think Barcode and OG are the same green, if I'm not mistaken.
They are. You're right.
Yeah.
So that's why it's only 5 greens in 6 years, because we didn't add a green that year.
Yeah.
What we did, we added the 2 away greens were added those years. Anyway, we have actually, no shit. Now I'm thinking like, I like the 25 away. The Dillo kit goes pretty hard.
Yeah.
I might put that ahead of Barcode. So 4th is Dillo, Barcode is 5th. And then the new kit 6th, only because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And then I forget we have the OG white kit too. I never bought the white kit, and I wish I did because I like the collar on it. But I will put that last just because it was 1 season and it didn't stay. Didn't have staying power.
Well, see, okay, that's interesting because I feel like for me, I think that the white, which is like the Legends jersey or the Legends kit or whatever, that green on it is the same green that is on the OG. What do you call it?
Correct.
The OG kit, which is also on the Barcode kit. And so I think that is actually my number 1 green.
Ooh, okay.
Is the OG.
No, I do agree. That green color is my favorite as well.
Yeah. That one, I'm sorry, like it will never get debunked off of number 1. I'm just an OG like that. But I think I'd have to go with the Dillo green after that one because the way that those sleeves and like the lettering and all that stuff, I remember
it looks good.
It's nice with that cream.
Good looking kit.
Yeah. And then I was never really the biggest fan of this Sentimiento kit. I was like, this is just a t-shirt. I spent way too much money for this t-shirt, but the fact that we will have a 2-color situation with this white and mint, I'm curious to see how that's going to work. So I feel a little bit less ick about spending money on that, but yeah, I'm curious, for you listener, I'm sure y'all have, different takes on, these kits and the different hues of Verde. So if you want to share those with us, please do so. But when we come back, we're going to talk a lot about the Verde and Black at Coachella Valley. So just hang tight, and we'll come back with the second half in just a second.
Yes, sir.
And we're back, and the club is back at Coachella Valley. They have officially arrived in Southern California for their final tune-up matches of the 2026 preseason, with their first kickoff happening this Saturday, February 7th, against Western Conference foes St. Louis City SC. So what we're going to do the second half is try our hand at prepping ourselves and you, listener, with a preview of sorts of the CVI opponents. So we'll kind of share like what the team looks like in terms of like a roster build, who's left, who's come on. what their form was at the 2025 season
Yep.
and stuff like that. So, Lobar, if you want to kick it off with St. Louis, talk to us.
Let's do it. First up, we got St. Louis City SC, who, as we talked a lot about the last 6 months and over the offseason, are undergoing a leadership transition. They parted ways with Lutz Pfannenstiel over the summer, but they brought in a number of names over the last couple of months: Corey Ray, Ali McKay, and Kellyanne Vennett Griffiths as a kind of core group to lead them through this transition. So they got a good group leading them, a decorated group. But they've yet to win in preseason. So they had a lot of change. Going out, they had 12 players. I'm not going to name all of them, but the big one that we all saw was João Klaus, their DP striker, heading out to LA Galaxy, which leaves them a DP spot to fill in. Coming in, they brought some midfield reinforcements. They got Daniel Edelman, Conrad Wallum, and they got some defenders in Rafael Santos, Mamadou Mbake, and Dante Polvara. It's going to be interesting to see how they fill out that attack. They still have what's his face, Berkey in goal as a DP for at least another couple years, which is always interesting and an outlier for normal builds in MLS. That resulted in a 13th place finish for them last year in 2025, after missing the postseason in 2024 as well. Their tactics, they're usually expected to do kind of a 5-back vibe, 3 center backs, and they have new signing Polvara, who can play kind of that midfield and center back blend, so he can be that middle of the 3 to kind of step up into the run of play and facilitate. I think I'm assuming here with this matchup that Austin's going to have some DPs available. Most likely Torres, or most likely Uzuni, maybe Torres for at least one of these games starting and some time off the bench. So I think Austin's going to have some interesting lineups to put out, interesting rotation to put out that will cause St. Louis a little bit of trouble, right? We're doing some fun stuff with our fullbacks. We're yet to see what it's going to look like with both Uzuni and Torres, as well as Nelson and even guys like Taylor, all playing at the same time. So how is that going to pan out? We don't know yet. But for me, I think we're going to generate some opportunity more than we saw against NYCFC. I think the defense is going to be shored up a little bit more with guys like Svatak and Dessler hopefully playing minutes. We didn't get to see them last weekend. So that's my thought. I think we're going to play well. Maybe get a 1-0 win out of this. If not, like maybe a 0-0 draw, but we look more convincing. You want to add some predictions there? Push a P.
Yeah, man. I think for me, what I've gathered from just my brief little review on their preseason is that they're experimenting a lot with their defensive shape. They've been traditional, more of a 4-back kind of team, but it looks like they're opting for that 3 at the back. So I think in the midst of all this experimentation, I think Austin is, it looks like a good time for us to kind of expose those spaces and really try to, kind of instigate first. I have us at a minimum like 6 shots is what I put down here on the notes. And so I think we're going to see a lot of, hopefully, experimenting with playing through the middle. We know what an Austin FC team looks like when they play all along the wing and stuff like that. But I
can see this being a game where we play through the wing successfully. If they're experimenting with that 3-back and we kind of let them step up in possession. Sure. This is a game where a guy like Jaden Nelson or Uzuni can sprint down the line on the counter and make things happen. But, easier said than done in Austin.
For sure. Well, I know the next matchup between Chicago Fire is going to be a tricky one. It's that midweek Wednesday matchup, if I'm not mistaken, against Greg Berhalter's side. And they've actually tasted success already. They've won their first 2 preseason matches, 4-1 against Nashville and a 1-0 against SKC. So again, going back to, you can score on preseason games and just have fun. And still win, But anyway, all that to say is they've tasted success already. And I mean, you look at this Fire side who has not made the postseason in 8 seasons before Greg Berhalter came in, and kind of turned things around. So they've left with some big names out there, like Brian Gutierrez is the big one that went to the Yankees. I think they also did a buyout with Kellen Acosta. So there's some key players out for them, but they've brought in some players, South Africa, Puso, I think it's Dida Jane and Mbokazai, which is a center back. They've also brought in Robin Lod, Andre Franco, and then over from Europe, Anton Salteros. So, I mean, they seem to be kind of gearing up to just kind of level up to the next version of Chicago Fire. They ended 2025 eighth in the East with 68 goals for. So they were putting them in the back of the net thanks to Hugo Kuipers. And so I think for us, it's going to be a lot of trying to hold off Jonathan Bamba and Zinkernagel for feeding Hugo, to score. And did a little research, and it looks like Salteros is going to be their set piece guy. Apparently, he's got a bomb of a right foot. So I have this on the notes as this being our defensive stress test for a side that showed quality in the attack last season in MLS play. So if we can bend, not break, I'll feel good with a tie. I'm thinking somewhere in the realm of like a 1-1 situation, or if it gets frisky, 2-2. But we're not losing. We're not losing in Coachella.
I like it.
That's where I got. That's where I'm at.
I like that. I think that's a very fair description or prediction there of what we might see. And this is probably what the coaches are looking at too. We have two bottom of the barrel opponents with St. Louis and SKC in terms of where they finished last season. Chicago is the kind of comparable test to where Austin was last year. They were a playoff team. They similar numbers in the greater scheme of things compared to the other opponents. So I think you're spot on. This is the defensive showcase where we see, what's the team defense look like in this shape, or in this changing shape.
Yep.
I like it. And then last up, we have Sporting KC. They only have 20 players on the books, so they have a lot of flexibility, a lot of cap space, which should set them up for some interesting roster movements in the near future. But as it stands, they're set with this club going into Coachella. They have a new head coach, Raphael Wicki. He literally just got there in the last week, and he just got to town and just started overseeing training. And so, they have work to do, and there's going to be you'll see a lot of change throughout the week if you follow SKC in terms of what they start implementing and who starts playing minutes. But they did get a little frisky 1-0 win against FIU, the college, before dropping a couple matches against Chicago and Charlotte. Like you mentioned, they're a team that's gone through a lot of change. They had a bunch of dudes go out, names to recognize like Kyrie Shelton, Mason Toye, Andrew Brody, right? Eric Tommy, former Austin FC guy, Memo Rodriguez. And they had some familiar faces go in, most notably Stephen Cleveland, our own. And then they got a couple other guys, Calvin Harris, not the DJ, and a couple other defenders. So they have a lot of uncertainty in their club. They have I think it's just two DPs. Is that right, Paul? In Jovic and Garcia, Manu Garcia.
Right. Garcia.
And so in the attack they're always dangerous, those two guys together, but with a kind of patchwork roster put around them at this stage, with new coach just getting here, not a lot of consistency coming out of last year. We're yet to know what happens there. They finished bottom of the West, 28 points last year, and I expect them to look like that throughout Coachella, or at least I hope that they look like that against Austin in Coachella. Paul, I see your note here. You have their tactics survive, and I think that's probably spot on. They're likely going to be a team that bunkers a little bit, plays in the counter with those two DPs up top, assuming they play. I think if we had to summarize these three matches, the first one's kind of a, see what you can do offensively, see what breaks, try to put on a good performance. The second one is go all in on defense. This one is screw defense, shoot, score. We got a week before the season starts, and we need to score some damn goals. Yep. So that's where I see this game falling in. That it's like, if you're going to lose SKC, lose with 25 shots at least. You know what I mean? So that's my take on this one. You might have a different take.
Hell yeah. No, I think I'm right in line with you, actually. Like I felt like 6 was my magic number for shots across all three matches here. Like starting off with With St. Louis, I was like, I think we'll probably get right there in the realm of 6. And then with Chicago, I've got less than 6. But with SKC, I got way more than 6. I just put, the greater sign 6.
Yeah, greater than.
But I think for me, man, the biggest thing is that, like, if there was ever a time to see if Nico's Austin FC team has that quote unquote killer instinct, this has to be the time, bro. Like, you're looking at a team that is just barely making 20, right? New coach has just come in, hasn't had a month yet with the players. Like, why don't we get to play bully? Right now, right now would be a really great time to just run it up 5-0, and I get it, that might sound very FIFA brain of me, but at the same time, it helps the players out, right? Like, yes. I've seen, looking at the Chicago Fire results, when you talk about those players that are like, yeah, it felt great to score 4 goals and do all that stuff. It's like, bro, why can't we do that in Austin? Mm-hmm. So this is that's my charge to the team is, can you exercise that killer instinct on a team that you should be able to go out and handle, without a problem. But that said, they are like that quote unquote, like, backed into a corner mentality. Yeah. They've got that chip on their shoulder as they're well in transition. And so I expect a little bit of fight from them as well. But again, that's just another opportunity and challenge for these guys in Verde to overcome and come out on top.
Yep. Nailed it.
3-0.
3-0. 4-0. I want to see 4. First time Uzuni will ever see 4 in Austin, Jersey. So
for real, bro. For real. But yeah. Was there anything else that we should talk about in terms of just what we're expecting at Coachella? I know for me, it was mostly like trying to understand maybe what were some partnerships that we would be interested in, like, seeing form over the course of the 3 games. Like a Jaden Nelson kind of Galley situation. Hoping that works out. What about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think partnerships wise, I think for this team to be successful, I think we can all assume we're going to still play out wide, play through the wings. That's just the roster we built. For this team to be successful, we need to see guys like you said, Galley and Jaden Nelson, Galley and Torres, or Uzuni, or whoever's in front of them, Dessler, Rosales, and the winger up there, right? See those partnerships come to fruition and start building out that danger, that sense of danger from the wing, rather than kind of just, okay, we passed around, time to pass it in. All right, damn.
Right.
Let's get some speed, some intensity, some tenacity down the wing so we can really be dangerous there. So I think those wide partnerships are going to be really important. I think the middle of the park, Nico and Danny, or Duber and Danny, Danny and Sabovic, Ilie and everybody, we're going to need to see that those midfield pairings really stay strong if we're going to play the way we are expected to. And so they got to cover a lot of the middle of the pitch. They got to carry the brunt of playmaking from the middle, likely, whether that be just a triangle with the wide guys so we can get the ball up fast, or taking the ball and turning and running with it. So I think that midfield pairing of specifically Danny and Duber, I liked what I saw from Duber, and I'm hoping he gets that opportunity to really showcase himself beyond preseason into the regular season. So that's my take. And then obviously, where Owen fits in, wherever he can get in, because he's him. So
yeah, I have Owen not having any action at Coachella. I think he still be on the tail end of his hernia recovery there. But if he does get an opportunity for even just 10-minute run out or whatever, I think would be good. But yeah, I think the 2 players I'm most keen on are actually in the midfield, and that's Sabovic and Dubersarski. I think those 2 specifically are going to say a lot about our depth, because there's a lot of fans right now that are starting to kind of, figure out one way or the other if Dubersarski is going to be that guy to be able to consistently deliver in MLS play. We need to know if he's going to be that guy or not. And then Sabovic, the same thing, man, because we did not see enough, in my opinion, from not just his decision-making, but the way he was progressing the ball, or not progressing the ball, rather. And if we can see a little bit more from him in that regard,
Yep.
I'll feel a lot better out of this preseason. And the shapes will change depending on the opponent, no doubt. But I think if there is that sense of cohesion and just team chemistry that builds over the course of the 3 matches, as always, man, that's just the name of the game. And
I think that's spot on, man. I really do think Sabovic and Nico, those 2 guys, like, they're the ultimate floor raisers for this team. If they figure their shit out, and when one of them comes in and the other comes off, we don't see any change of play. They're playing well consistently. I mean, that takes us from like a bottom of the playoff contention to like a solid 4 seed, and then let the ceiling raisers take it from there. Let Torres and Uzuni and BV9 like take us to the top 2 seeds if they're going to do that. But I think if we have the same exact team as we did last year, but both Sabo and Duber are notably better, this team, the ceiling or the floor raises significantly for this team.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm about that action. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. And the cool thing is the club did just announce earlier today that 2 of the 3 preseason matches are going to be available for live streaming. So I think that's going to be the first game against St. Louis City, and also the last one against SKC. So if you're interested, if you're a sicko like us and you want to watch those games and give your full report afterwards, feel free to keep the count.
I will say I'm a sicko, but I'm a sicko that needs to plan his life out a little bit. And the fact that they told us this less than 48 hours before kickoff really irks me. I'm like, bro, why do you got to be so like nonchalant? Just plan it, dude. Tell me 2 weeks ago so I can be like, dope. At 1 p.m. on Saturday, I'm watching this game, because now I'm busy and I got shit to do.
That's tough, bro. I mean, respectfully, I was just planning on not doing a damn thing Saturday afternoon and just purely refreshing Twitter and Blue Sky and just
be playing the game, friend. You're going to be at halftime when this game starts.
Right. Who said? I mean, I can still check it during halftime.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. All right.
But yes,
let's go stoppage.
Let's do it. Alrighty, man. So yeah, we got some stoppage time. We got a little bit of Austin FC chat. They did a good service here with RSL. They agreed to trade, exchanging an international roster spot for $235K in 2026 GAM. And then as part of that trade, Austin will get that spot back at the start of the summer window. Was that a fleece, or some folks are saying GAM inflation, bro? Like,
that's a crazy amount of money for like a 4-month rental of GAM. You know what I mean? Or I'm sorry, 4-month rental of an international spot. It's great flexibility for us to buy down roster spot, to do whatever we need to do. To
bank it up, bro. We're down.
Yeah.
Bad.
So like, do it. It's a good chunk for a club. I think we had the least amount of GAM, right? Is that right? So, that's a good, and we get the spot back in 6 months where we might have some flexibility to buy somebody out, bring in a new player, do whatever we need to do. Maybe we can buy somebody down at that GAM supplemental, and then we have a senior roster spot to use. It gives us flexibility. So I like it.
Yeah. And then, speaking of flexibility here, we got just literally today, right before recording, we were seeing this news. Apparently it's being rumored that Mirtu Uzuni is on the eyes of a Turkish club. Remind me again.
Trabzonspor, yeah,
something like that. Yeah. Which is interesting though, because when does their window close?
While you're listening to this episode tomorrow, right? Today, it's closed already. So like, we would find out in the next, like, for time of recording, like 3 hours, or 6 hours or something. So if you wake up in the morning and Uzuni's still on our team, it was bullshit.
Right. I don't know, man. I'm at that point now where I understand the sentiment, but I desperately want to see a redemption arc from our number 10. Because
I family here, bro. We know he's not going anywhere.
Right, sorry, bro. Like, he's not going anywhere. He's about to like lead the Golden Boot race for like, the first 6 months, dude. He's just going to go off.
Talk that
bro,
shit.
Let me dream, bro. Let me dream. Anyway, moving on to the next point. James Rodriguez is coming to Austin. No, not like that. I had to put it like that, bro. I'm sorry. The news is that the Colombian international will come as a new Minnesota United player on February 28th, and he is not going to be a DP, folks. I don't know how they were able to get that going. Something along the lines of like a short-term deal. I think he's trying to get minutes for pre-World Cup situation. But
yeah, this is very much in line with the trading international roster spot for 4 months for a shit ton of GAM. You get a 4-month rental of James Rodriguez. You don't have to pay him that much. He is motivated to ball out, so he gets World Cup minutes. There you go. I think just why not? It's one of those like, well, we have flexibility to do it, so why not?
Yeah,
let's go. So
shout out
to
interesting.
Cool. Should be fun. Yeah.
Do you think that he starts against Austin or sees any minutes against Austin?
I don't think it would be ridiculous if he didn't start because of the kind of deal that they set up here. I think the expectation is that he's going to play every single minute possible, and they're going to honor that. And if they don't, that's surprising. Why even have him here? If you're going to have him miss, 8% of the games he's going to play right away. It's like you have 12 games or 13 games with this dude, whatever it is.
No.
Like, let him go.
I get that, man. I know he hasn't been in a great run of form. And there is no matching the 2010, World Cup, form that he was in as the younger Colombian star. But should be interesting though. It'll be good for, Minnesota jersey sales, but there's that.
True.
And then one more transfer to report on, and that was that you can't have a proper transfer window without a busted transfer. And last week it was reported that NYCFC finalized a deal for designated player forward Musa Sila from Schalke over in the Bundesliga 2. And then later on, Tom Bogert reports that the deal has collapsed. And then as of today, apparently there's a whole public statement from Schalke saying like, hey, like, what the fuck, NYCFC, bro? Like,
oh, really? They called him out?
They called him out, bro.
Interesting.
And then NYCFC is like looking the other way, like no comment, just like, we're looking for a forward, so like.
Yeah. It was medical, right? Some medical dispute of like his quality of health and whatever
something
else.
like that. Yeah, man. You hate to see it.
It's how it goes, man. When you're investing all this money in a DP, man, you gotta make a safe swing when it comes to health, at least, right? You could take a risk on someone's potential, but like you can't bring in an unhealthy player in that kind of market.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Tough for the player. It seemed like he wanted to be here. So
yeah,
darn. But also, yeah, it's fun seeing Bogert diffuse a bomb every once in a while and be like, nope, ain't happening.
It do be like
unless I say it is.
Yep. He's doing the fans' work there. This one is an interesting one. We just found out today. Former visitors to Q2, Saudi Arabia, have confirmed Austin, Texas as its space camp for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
All right, bro. Why?
You don't want to step in that, huh?
No, dude, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. I don't even need to get into it, but
But if you had to get into it, Lobar.
Yeah, if people followed the Riyadh Comedy Festival debacle that happened, where like the Saudi royal family paid all this money to have the biggest comedians in the nation to come out and do stuff, and a lot of people said no because something about human rights disputes.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. So, why even touch that with a 10-foot pole? Just
I get that. Well,
somewhere else.
I think what's interesting about this is, for folks that were following the Gold Cup a couple summers ago, they were here in Austin, right? And they played in Q2. So I think there's a part of that familiarity already. Mm-hmm. Thinking about, the summer and that heat, they're probably used to it. But I don't know, man. I think it's one of those things where trying to look at it purely as a sporting event, which I know is a terrible exercise to engage in because, as we all know, sport is politics as well. Mm-hmm. This was a team that I looked at beat Argentina in the World Cup in 24 and I was like, awesome. They did what no team could do in that period and beat Argentina. But anyway, all that to say is going to be curious to see if there's going to be like a regular protest at St. David's or
right.
Yeah. That's just not the one, man. Respectfully, that's gonna be hard. Yeah. And I kind of, because I can take the government out of the sport for a second, but looking at players who are not Saudi, and
Sure.
and understand it's like, hey man, like you've got to deal with that and what that's going to look like, that reality.
Yeah.
But
either way, it was an interesting choice, but it is validating of Q2's facilities and whatnot. So that's cool.
yeah, I mean, we got it like that, bro. It is 512 things,
Yes, sir.
And hey, if it's not FIFA pissing you off, bro, it's the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. I don't know if you saw this, but LA28 committee has tapped 7 stadiums across the U.S. to host the soccer tournament during the summer games. And no, Q2 is not on that list, brother.
I mean, that makes sense. Do you know the list off the top of your head? I'm looking it up right now. I would assume it's all soccer
they're soccer specific. I know. Specific. Yeah, I know. Like Nashville's on there. I think.
Yeah.
St. Louis City is on there. I know the final's going to be at the Rose Bowl, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is weird. Well, looking at it now, it's mostly soccer specific outside of the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
So that's curious. That it's not. I don't know. Is it too hot? Like, what's the?
I think that's probably what it is, man. Is it's going to be a little bit too hot.
And Nashville, it's still hot as shit there too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
whatever, man.
Yeah, that's lame. I think Austin can do that, and we would show up maybe. I don't know.
Oh, dude, we would absolutely show up for the Olympics. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah.
And then looking ahead and over to the women's game, we have Arsenal Women's as the inaugural FIFA W champions after winning 3-2 against SC Corinthians from Brazil in dramatic fashion this past Sunday. They got to play in their home stadium, mind you. So there's that.
Yeah, I don't really care about Arsenal like that. So shout out women's
I'll
soccer.
let you rephrase that. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
You care about the women's game. You just don't care about Arsenal like that, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. Shout out women's footy. That's what's up. Cool that a Brazilian team gets to come out and ball out and at Arsenal, almost win a game. But also, I don't care about Arsenal. So
I hear that.
Shout out Chelsea.
Well, would you rather talk about the drubbing 5-1 loss that the Chelsea women's team endured at the hand of Man City, or
can we move past that too?
Absolutely. Let's talk about the Chelsea men's team that came back from 0-2 down at halftime. I don't know why I said 0 when I should have said 0 there, but anyway, they came down from halftime for the first time during their time in the top flight of English football. Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's
True
crazy.
history. In their 3-2 comeback against West Ham. Go off, dude.
Yeah, Liam Rowe Sr.'s him. Chosen One, Part 2, Redux, Electric Boogaloo, Run It Back. Yeah, I mean, best team in the world. That was beautiful seeing the boys eke out that win and just holding it down.
Yeah.
And then we don't need to talk about the Carabao Cup.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. But we do have an Arsenal problem.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, bro, let's leave it on the high note. We got 3 points against a struggling, lower table side. But,
as you're expected to.
Shouts out Rowe Sr. I think he's on the short list for Manager of the Month. Shout out Enzo Fernandez. I think he's going to be on, Player of the Month watch. So, up the Blues. Up the fucking Chelsea, bro.
Boom. That's it.
That's it, buddy.
Episode.
I love it. And as always, we appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this episode of the Verdependent podcast. I'm Paul Fletes. You can catch me on Twitter at PaulAndrewFC, government name.
Bartlett. Oh, shit, my bad. Government name. I was already getting ahead to a joke. I was going to say, and I'm Logan Bartlett. And as always, you could find me at Lobar BHLM.
And what's the joke?
And then, as always, keep the chatter going.
Oh, this is getting weird, y'all. All right. Keep the chatter going online by following at the Verdependent on socials. And if you can, consider leaving a review, like, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. That is an episode, friends. Goodbye.
As always, peace. Paul, why are you screaming at me?
Oh my God.